So, so we have learned this bean concept now, right? So you guys have any questions on Java now, like how the class is being created and all. So that is a maximum powerful way how you can actually go ahead with Java beans across, right? And one more way is that you can also create internal classes as such. Like let me create one more class here, normal class. So here let me just say this something I can try one. So here in this, let us say you have simple class, a simple method called public first name is like quit something as square square. So here let us say it is taking accepting a value called int from a, and it returns some a star a. Simple method we have here, right? Now, so here what I'm going to do here is, so this is my child, a class, one more class here. I'm going to create an object of this class in a bean. That is what I'm going to do, right? So here object in the sense we will not create an object, but we will create a variable of that class, which is here as child, right? Let me just call it as LOBJ child one something is equal to null. Initially it is null. Okay. So the main catch here is, even for objects, right, you can create data cell setters. Like let me just select go to source, data cell setters, select this. Now you can see that there is a getter and setter for this class variable. That class which is, you can see it returns a child, get LOBJ child 1 and set LOBJ child 1. So whenever you just from wherever you want to use this one, you can use this, and you can create an object of this and you can send the data, right? So that's how it will work actually, right? Now you can see here, so whenever you just click on go, so we'll come back here. So whenever you want to set, because you want to set it exclusively, right? So let me use some JSP set property of property. So the property name will be this, right? LOBJ child 1, right? And the name will be this, which is I want to give it for free. The value, right, will be, so how we can actually instantiate? So we can instantiate this way. That means CLS child 1. Sorry, CLS child. Right? I can see here. Basically, we are actually creating the instance of the child, and we're going to use it here. Now let us see how we can use that. Let us just map it here itself first. How it is being mapped. Great, we have it. Let us say this is a child method, right? So here, let me call tree 1 dot, you have get LOBJ child 1, right, dot, you have, you see, get square of, let us say, I want square of 2. So that is how you can actually access your internal to this bean class. You have one more object where I'm actually creating an object over here, right? And you are able to call the method internal to that, because this, from this point on, it is going to work on this object only, right? So let's see this part. So let me start the server. So here, let me say page 15 here. So here we have value something like 80 and 20, and let's give some user right. Now you can see here accessing child method and it gives full. Right, so this is how we can actually access the internal object as such. Right, in my bean class, so till now what we have seen is we have seen some direct variables, right? We have seen some direct variables instance which don't have any, you don't have to create any instance or anything as such, right? Now we went one step ahead, so this is the maximum thing which you can actually do, where we just created a class variable. We created a class. Now you can understand that you can create any number of classes and your bean can hold any number of object as such, right? Rather, you can actually create object here itself. You don't have to go and create this object during the set. You don't have to do that part, right? You can actually assign the object over here itself, but yes, in your bean class itself, so that from that object, whatever the value you are setting for internal child class methods, right, or variables, you can actually access them from anywhere you want, right? And this is how we can actually access them. Where we can see that we have created an object here, just instantiate with that with a new child, right? And we got a the square of that, right? So this is what if you refresh, you can see access method 4. Right? So this is the first step of accessing this. Now let us say we have created one more page, so if you remember, right, where we have used the same session. We have made this bean as a session scope bean, right? Session scope in the sense we can use across all the JSPs for some session. Session means it can have some expiry, right? So till that part we can use. Now let's go ahead and use that part again. Let us see whether the object is being persisting or not. We'll break it up and just say accessing child object from B, right? And here let me just say is equal to 3 1 dot get value child 1 dot get square of, let me just say it's 5, right? So this is my page 16. Now when I am moving from my page 14 to page 16, what I am planning here is we just want to check whether this object is being persisted across the pages, right? Let me build this. Let me start the server now. Let me just go back to page 15 here. Just take something 25. Okay, click on go. Now you are in page 14. Now when I click on go again, right, now you can see the object is being persisted, right? So which is very powerful now. Persisting when complete object inside a bean, which is again an object, is something which is completely stored in a session, right? We are not even passing anything more here, right? When it is going from one page to other page, it is actually saving the session across your page itself. Now you can see this is something. Now when I go back here, right? Now let us say we want to parameterize even that. Parameterize your, so like what exactly you want, because why am I asking that one is, let us say I am actually using this for one more page, right? Which is, let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right? So let us say I have my IE, right right? So there, I'll just copy this and paste it here, right? So this is my page 15.jsp, right? Now when I give some values here, so the session of this and this will be different actually, right? So this will be carrying these values. You can see 25 or 200. If you want to start this again, 15.jsp, let's say 200 and 200 again, and some click on go. Now you can see this is carrying some other object, bean class again, and this is carrying something else. Click on go again. Now you can see it is actually carrying something else. But if you just go ahead with the same one more Firefox, see what happens. Let us say I'm just trying to access the same URL again. Right, you can see the data will be persisted again. Anyways, because you are actually sending that same data over here, right? So if you close this and let us say I'm clicking go on this. Now let me just copy this page 16. Paste it up, right? You can see here, yes. And let me just paste the page 16 in Chrome. Let me just open on Chrome. And when I click on this, now you can see null pointer exception. See, because in the same browser, which means it is saving user session, right? And for the browser, it will be saved as a separate session, right? If you see back here again, it will be a separate, right? For that, because why it is not, you don't have any other session being saved from start. If you go for 16 page again in IE, it is right. Let me just go back to IE and paste it up. See what happens. Now you can see it is taking 23. See, because in my IE, what I've done is I've just I've started my creating session. I have a session being created in my IE session, which is a separate user session again, right? Now that is how it works, right? So in Chrome I didn't started anything. That's why you can see that it gave null pointer exception directly, because yes, in page 16 I'm directly trying to get some reads and session, but which is not there, right? That's how it just killed it, and it went to the global error page directly, and it just gave null pointer exception. But here we can see in IE both are same, and in Chrome they are like this, right? So this is how even your bean is being completely split up with respect to your sessions, right? So that is what is a session, how it will be. Now obviously this will continue actually working in all the pages, right, as such. Now if you move on to the next page even, right, which is 17 page again, it will be same. Let us say here I'm trying to get square of some maybe 78 something, right? Now which is, we can just get back to page 15 again. Give some values here. And click on this. Now access 4 is a page 14. Click on this, page 16, click on go, we'll get your page 17, right? Now that is how you can actually get the persisted object using the file. Now this is a base. Now you can improvise like whatever you want, how many classes you want to create, and you want to create class inside a class, inside a class, inside a class. Everything is possible. The bean will actually hold any level of object you want actually, right? So that is how it can actually create. Yes. So this requirement will be there actually, right? Now when you will get these type of requirements is like let us say we want to process data, right? I mean some information which you need to actually secure some data, right? And you want to modelize the data. Modelize in a sense like let us say some variables you want to give it in one class and some variables you want to give it in another class. You don't want to mess by combining those variables. Let us say one class is for business variables, one class is for logical variables, right? And one class is for error variables. There will be so many different global classes where you will have different variables, right? You can keep them separate. You can use one bean class. You can define all the object variables here, right? And you can use it anywhere you want in JSPs, right? So that is how we can use the bean. So these are complete concepts of different concepts which are in bean, right? From lower end to higher end. Now here you can see one thing you have noticed in my a child class. Again, you have to maintain your serializability, which is implement serializability. If you give it, then it's fine. Otherwise, it will take care of your bean class will take care of converting it also. And what happens if I don't have default constructor, which is CLS child, right? Let us say in A, let us say, and I'm trying to get this from let us say here. What I'm going to do here, let us say I'm taking in A is equal to 0, right? Let us say I'm getting a discrete arc, and A is equal to arc, right? And I don't want to give any argument for square here, and I just want to push. So is this possible? Is a question. Right? Now if you go back to page 15, or page 14, like now here, it won't allow you to create a child, right? If you just control space again, see, now it starts giving CLS child 1. Now you have to provide it, like let's say I'm providing 5 here, right? Which is, I'm just giving a constructor here, which is my child public constructor. Right? Now we just gave something, right? Now you have to remove wherever you are doing the square part, you have to remove these values because I'm not giving any argument for that. Right? Save it up, recompile everything, just check whether there are any problems. Okay, there is no problem start here. Let's enable that problem start here. So problem start is something which is used to check out the compile the methods or design the methods in classes of JSPs, right? The problems, it will be under general tab. Click on that. Now you can see there is one error. Extends, what is this? Type expected for this token. It's space, okay. No worry about that. It is some other page. Okay. Now let's go back to page 14 and see what happens. Let me restart the browser too. You have your page 15 and 20 click on this. Now you can see 25. Click on go 35. You will go again. Okay. Now with these only bean class all the rules which we have learned, right, is applied to the bean class, and internally when whatever you are doing, right, you can just follow something called anything. The internal class can be anything, so as such you can use. That is how you can actually move ahead with your bean classes. So these are maximum possible things which you can do in a bean. Now it all now it all depends on you, like how you want to use them. Now if you want to actually do it with child 1, right, like this, like let us say you are creating one more variable called private, just to try one thing with you guys. Let us say I'm giving it as child argument. You have given it a separate variable as such. Just an example. Child argument, and I'm going to use it here, which is child 2 as child arc. Let us say I'm using this variable over here, and I want to create a data setter for this. of the server. You have your child art. Now you can imagine what exactly we're going to do here now. So what I'm going to do here is from my page 15, I'm going to create one more user input. Right. Square. And there's something. Let's say taking input of type, we have text, and we have name is equal to, I'll be taking the same name. Now you can improvise this with, it all depends on how you can imagine. It all depends on your imagination how you want to use this. Right, square num and child art. Now when we go to 14 page, now you can see you don't have to, now you can directly get a square. You don't have to insert it. Let me just come in this, right, creating an object. Right. Now you have here, we have this. Now let me run this project. Start the server. Restart the project. Right, so take anything here, and here let us say I'm just giving 6. When click on go now, child method 0, perfect. Right, became 0 here. Child art, so we are mapping child art over here. Okay, when you say, oh sorry, we don't have start. Okay, let me just make it started here. I don't want to go for value, okay? Because we have to use star, so then everything will be mapped, right? Perfect, no issues. That's fine. Even if you make star and even if you again mention it, right? It will actually be just no worry about that. These are so flexible to use. Yeah, 200, we have user again, and we have let us say some 7 now. Go. So come on. So when we get square here, so I'm trying to get this int r. So this child r by default it is going to take this. So whenever you refresh the child r, it is creating on the phone. Okay, we have to create it when we actually do the get button later. That's fine. I'm just trying it whether we can do it or not. That's fine. So we just try to send the child artwork from here. Okay, initially when it gets created, oh, I understand that. Okay, what we can do when we say get child, okay, we can do this part. I think make it null. I can actually, whenever I'm getting, I can just get the new instance of this child, which is just say this and let's say I want to get the child art.
Hello?
Yes, what's up?
I'm getting a lot of disturbance in the voice and your voice is also very low. I don't know, only me getting it or everybody's getting the same thing.
Oh, is it right now?
Yeah, it's better now, Pranav. Yeah, it's better. Yeah, it's very better now.
Okay. Fine.
And I saw one video, earlier video. Right now some disturbance has started.
I don't know what is happening because I'm in my office.
I guess it's perfect.
Okay. Can you guys just mute up yourself if you can?
Yeah. So I was watching one video, mid videos, and your voice was very low in that one. Even now, your volume was high. I couldn't hear you, so I just wanted to check right now.
Okay, fine. No issues. I'll talk.
Yeah, this is right now very well.
Okay, fine. Sure. I'll do that. Yeah, it is fine with you, all right? I hope there is no disturbance now. Fine. Okay. So yeah, what I was talking about is instead of creating object at a variable itself, let us create an object at get LOBG child. So we are giving back the same thing, but before giving back, let me create a new here, right? And this argument, let me take it as get child R, right? Now where I'm giving, whenever anyone uses this object, I'm just using this getter. You can see now whenever anyone want to get this child, they are getting this child, but I'm passing the latest argument, which is get child R here. Now let us just go back and try this once. We have a 15 page here. Let's give some value 1, value 2, this, and let us say I want to give some 5 here, just a 9 here. Click on go. Now you can see 81. Right? Now you have given even the constructor, even the constructor argument of your page, right, as a complete configurable, right? Now how you have done? It all depends on the logic how you are writing now. Right? What I'm done here is while getting the child object, I'm creating an object on that fly, and I'm getting the latest one. So when we create it here, right, it will create object only once, right? So it doesn't matter if you are changing this value or not. It doesn't matter at all, right? But whenever you want, if you are taking, so till that time your child art was mapped, right? So that's how it is. Now this is how you can actually work with your bean things. So you have any doubts? So with this, the drawing Java is completed. You have one thing which is, anyways, it is not mainly used, but you can see that. So that is called as your expression language. Right? You have a concept of expression language in Java, right? Now, why is it used is, in order to, mainly expression language is used to actually directly access your bean variables, or we can say bean elements directly in a JSP. And not only bean elements, you can use that for anything. Now let us say in my page 14, we'll just see till one page. That's more than enough. So let us say I'm going to create one layer over here and create a break here. So expression language is something which starts with your dollar symbol and your flower bracket. So inside that, whatever you write, right, the result part will be shown in the screen. Let's say if I'm trying to sum 10 plus some 90, right? Now what it does is it will actually sum up this and it will show in a screen. Right? Let me run this once. Anyways, this is not mostly used, so that's why you are seeing one implicit object called, when we have learned something called page implicit object, right? We have is EL ignored, right? So is EL is ignored is nothing but do you want to ignore the expression language to be used, right? By default, it will be enabled anyways, right? If you keep it true, it will be enabled. If you give it false, no one will be able to use your expression language as such, right? Now if you run this page once, let me recompile this. It's not click on there. Right, you can see the direct, right, is in this part. Here we have root is ignored response. Okay, refresh it now to see 100, right? Now basically, we have this because if you don't want to mess up with multiple ways of getting things right, you don't need to give this, right? That is how you can actually directly use this, right? Even here you can actually take up things like let us say I am giving some 25 is less than 3. It's a simple expression you want to get the difference, right? If you see, you can see that the return type will be handled. In the same way, if you want to get the values of your, let us say, your bean class, right? You can actually get it. Let us say I want a value of dot. Let us say I want to retrieve the value of child r. You can directly give it as a child r. If you go back and refresh, you can see child r value is 23, and you are getting your square of 23. So this is mainly used to, basically was designed for a support of Java beans to retrieve beans objects into JSPs. So in this way you can actually use this. So basic syntax is that you will have to start with dollar, right, and flower brackets. Inside that you have to give your object current bean object name and the variable you want to access. If you don't have the variable, let us say I just gave something wrong. If it refreshes, again it will directly do the problem action, right? It will directly give you an exception that okay, something is missing here, right? So that is how it will actually work. If you want, you can just go ahead and work for anything you want, right? I can just print S directly over here, everything, right? So this is a very simple thing, which is, so basically most of the time you will be ignoring the EL, right, because you have multiple ways of accessing your bean variables, right? So that is all about the advanced Java, guys. So if you have any doubts, you can just ask me now. So you should create them as a separate folder. Never ever use direct creation of your images or CSS file directly in the tree of your JSPs, right? Why is the main reason behind that is that basically if you actually include them in the same level, it will be first, maintainability will be very tough to maintain, right? And more than the maintainability, usage of these JSPs, right, with respect to the images, right? If you want to give the duplicate image, it will be very tough. Or if you want to give the same name, if anyone gives the same name in that page, then it will be very tough to actually mention. So that's why always try to give something which is separate folder. It can be images, or normally if you want to give CSS, go for CSS folder, give it up. This is the best way of arranging all things. If you want to arrange JS scripts, go ahead. Always try to give them separate. And sometimes you can actually give even your JSPs, right? Sometimes people create separate folder called JSPs and they actually insert them across here, right? So in that way you can actually use that, right, in order to create images, right? So let us download one image and we'll show that. Let us make something called Java logo, something. Let me just open this up, some logo, right? Click and copy image and let me just paste it up. Okay. Or I can just save this image to desktop. Right click, maybe new, right? Or you can just go to your desktop, copy this logo, copy, get back and paste it. It will be pasted. You can actually copy anything as such directly, right? So this is how you actually copy your file. Now let us say I have a JSP here, new JSP, let me take, or you can use a header JSP maybe, right? Header JSP, let us say in this header you want to insert an image. So you have a direct tag called image, right, where you have to mention the source. So in this source you have to give the path of your image. Now this path can be a relative path. Always go for relative path. Just say images and let us say I want this logo, which is this logo. And sometimes, right, with respect to framework, sometimes you have to give the image as a separate a separate context path, right? So images, we have Java logo. This is how you gave your image. Let us take alt as alt is present. So if you want to click on that, where do you want to go? Now this is something which is my image. Okay. Now let me run this. So where do you have this? We have it in page 15, right? We have this page 14. Sorry, 30. Okay, we have this header in 30. Let us run this and see what happens. Let me actually go back to servers. Restart this. We can try this. You can see the image, right? Now you have to give some in this header. Let me just give some height for this. Height, let me give it as maybe some 100 px, which is pixels. Refresh. Now you can see some decent image. Now here, let me just make it as some table first to actually make it more to look it cool. That we have to go ahead with some creating tr and td something. And what I'm going to do here is sorry. Here let me just use one td, right? So here in this td, let's put up this image, right? And let's give one more td here, which is this, and here let me call it as in body style, give it as text align as center, and vertical align as, let us say, top. Anyways, don't worry about this, something which is CSS. Okay, and in here let me do this. Let me just remove all these things. Let us just say here as the company name. Let us say this as XY, some XYZ company, something, right? And in between, let us, we have one more TD where you're actually mentioning some, you want to give some width in between it. Let me just give some width as some thing like 20 px, right? And height, let me use is 200 px. And here, style is equal to margin as here. Let me take it as auto. I don't want any breaks here. Perfect. Now you have taken it in a beautiful manner. Now let me just go back here and refresh this page. Right? You can see everything got centralized. Right? You have your logo. Let me just give some decent height for this. So maybe 70 px. Right? And here also let me give as a style as the margin auto, so that you can actually get these things, right? Margin, you have auto. Right? Now let me run this. Now you can see everything is in one page. Right? Paste it. Go ahead anywhere. Now this is how you can actually insert the logo you want. I mean, so any image you want. Right? This is how you can actually insert any image you want, and you can just go ahead with doing the properties. Fine, Angela? Now you can see this page. Now this is how you can actually improvise this to make it look beautiful. Like you want to give some background colors, anything, right? You can just improvise on that, right? You want to just make background colors, right? Normally you would have seen something like yeah.
Yeah, what is that alt equal to hash? What does that mean?
Now alt is something like if you want to actually give a click on this, right? Click in a sense, if you want to use on click of this, you want to go to some page, right? If you want to go to some page on click, let me just say as href is equal to, let us say I'm giving it as page something, page 13.js. Right? Normally you don't have to give this alt, even if you don't give, because you have the alt was mainly used in older HTML versions. As this we are supporting HTML15 now, right? Eclipse Juno supports, right? You can directly use it by anchor element itself, right? Now if I refresh this, okay, anyways background color got changed, so it's very something like silver, maybe, gray maybe, right? Refill this, maybe some color, okay, some, right? Now when I click on this, right, see here, it will go to trace setting. You can see that normally whenever you click on a logo of any page, right, it will go to home, right? In that way you can actually create. Now I'm keeping my page setting as a home. Now you can actually move on to any page you want. Click on logo, it will go. Now that is how you can use click. So for click you don't have to go for alt. Basically you can directly go for so anchor element to actually handle this. But yes, it will be there whenever you want. It will actually. So always don't give URLs, guys. Never ever give URLs until unless it is needed. Right? If you need, you have to give URL here. Let us say you have your maybe you want to in your company site you want to deploy that, and you want to give the company site. No, don't do that. As much as possible, try to give relative path, because in the same thing, right? You can go for relative. Even you can see I'm not giving anything in my server. I just took it as a relative path, and immediately whenever you deploy, right, even your deployment will be the same way. The page will have relative images folder, and from the images folder you are getting the logo. So yeah.
Srinat, so what is the reason behind not to give the link? HRF?
You can give.
No, you said right. Generally, don't give that one.
No, I said alt. No. I mean, I just said I didn't say link. I said he was asking about alt, right? Alt here.
Okay.
So this alt, I mean, even if you give or no, it is not like you don't have to give. I just said even if you don't give this alt, right? It was even if you don't use this alt in your HTML 3 or 4, it will actually give you an error actually. But you have to mention that. But in HTML 5 support, right? You don't need. I mean, if you want to actually move on to this any other page, you can directly use anchor in front of your image, so that it will completely make it visible for this page. So that is what it is. Fine. So any more doubts?
Srinat, I have one question. So like a generic thing. In some websites, when we give a password, it will show as we are typing. It will give like big password, strong password, and all. So
okay.
Like how do we do that? Is it like a separate option?
It is JavaScript actually. It's a complete JavaScript. So if you have page 13, let us say you have something like let us say you have an input. You have input like type text, right? So for this you have something called your let me just take it as input here. One more input, maybe type something like something, or let me take it as a label. Input, we have a label that we have direct label attribute. That is your ID. Let me do it as something. IDL, some data, something. Okay. Now in your text, so you will have something called on, right? On change, on click, right? On key press, right? So with respect to these events, right, they will be actually working on. Let us say you have done on key press, right? You can actually write a JavaScript. Let us say you want a script of type Java, and let us say I'm just writing a JavaScript as function. Let's say handle text is something, right? Now here what I'm going to do here is, let us say here how to write this method. You can directly give this method here like this. So these are you can actually call your JavaScript method, right? Now here you can actually write down, this is completely, so whatever you can see in client sides, right? Client sides of your page is completely done through some scripting, right? Because page side validations or page side things, something, whatever is going on, is not being transferred to server, right? Everything will work on a client side. Now it all depends on which type of technology they are using. If they are using maybe a page, no, technology instance there are many. Client side scriptings are there many. So one of them is JavaScript. The most, one of the powerful tool for client side validations or handlings is something which is JavaScript. And on the JavaScript, these things are built like Ajax. You have jQueries, right? jQuery is something which is completely built on. You have both JS things and CSS jQueries and all, right? Now here you can actually get where of something as data is equal to get. You have something called get element by ID, right? Let me take the element by ID. So this ID here, let me do ID as something called txt data, something, right? I'm taking this ID, right? And let us say where. So this is your text box, and we have a label, let us say, right? Label is equal to get element by ID, right? So this is your element, which is your this. So you have got your things ready. But this is a little. Now here, when you just say inner HTML, which is your inner HTML is equal to just give text box data. Let me run this up once, because even I don't remember much of internal things. Anyways, you can get it through. You just have to know that, okay, these things are there, right? So let me run this page 13 now. I can see some text box. When I type in here, you start typing. Are you getting it? Let me just say alert here. Oh, okay. You have to get the value. Right. Let me put the alert and just say text box dot value here. Alert is like message box. Basically, it is used for client side things. Page 9, page 30, refresh. Okay, you're getting something. Okay, typing something. You're getting something. Giving this wrong. It is not giving the data. It is not giving the data. Doesn't matter. Let me just use get input text value. Let's say direct code as such. Let me just check out over here. So here document.get element of this dot value. Yeah, we have used the same thing. Okay, let me use the document too, because it should take direct document as such. Document dot and document dot. Okay. Now let's go back here, refresh. Refresh this to page 10, page 13. W E. Okay, you got something. E H N R E. Okay, you're getting something on alert, right? And I'm assigning the same thing to my label. Okay, so when I'm assigning this, maybe this is not taking up. Let me just check that now. Inner HTML. Right? So now we can take label.text. How to change label? Okay, inner it is capital HTML. Now it's capital HTML, right? Now let me just go back and refresh our page. Page 9, refresh this. Page 13. Now let me give some data. Okay. Here is my label here. Now this is my label. Let me just give some height here. initially the label data was hello data set. Refresh this. You can see initially it was hello. When I click on this, okay, click on this, okay, click on this, okay, it should change. First, let me remove this background color. This is killing. Click on OK, refresh that. Now it's perfect. Now let's go back to page 30. Right, in here I am trying to set the data artist, which is I'm taking that by ID, which is LBL data, label data here. It is LBL and address. So what is happening here? So I can get my value and new text value. Alright, let me use value perfectly. Okay. Clean this up. Okay. And now let's go back to our site. Page 9, refresh the complete site. Page 13, give something. Okay, we are getting some data here. Why it is not complete here? Come on. We have a label determined by ID. Let me remove this data. So we have here LBL data, which is our LBL data over here. We have a value after. Yeah, click on this now again. Go back to page 9. Refresh it. Go back to page 13. Let me do something. Okay, it should change here. Come on. Okay, determine the ID of my label. Yeah, user in HTML, right? Documents.getHTML. Document element by ID. I've taken this ID. Is it the same thing? Yes, it is the same thing. I've taken LBL as my var, LBL as well, and I'm using this inner text here. Let me just give something like when you call it as new text something, and then press text box dot value. You compile this. Restart a server if you want. Yeah, let's go back here. Let's go to page 9. Refresh this page. Go to page 13. Come on, man, it's not changing. At least should it change to new text at least. Refresh and I put on this. Alright. Inner HTML, determined by any kind, and everything is same. Everywhere it's the same thing. What is happening here? So here we have plain text and something bold stuff, something. Here inner HTML, SQL, something. Yeah, it should change. So you just gave it as ID, right? Okay, so let me call it as input for type text maybe. And let me call it as ID as this. Instead of giving here, let me give ID here. Let me just say this part, which is my input data. So this is my two text boxes I have now. Right, let me just go back to insert. Let me take it out. refresh, and now when I put in data here, right, it should go back to my label. Okay, it says label, but it should get it, and it should insert the data over here. Okay, my test refresh this, go to page 9, page 13, now type in, okay, now you can see some data is field type, right? Now let us just take out this part in order, right? Now here when I refresh this part, go to page 13, you can see, right? So whatever you're doing, it is taking up, right? Now in this way, right, when you actually are typing on something, let us say if you're giving some password, something, right? So automatically what happens, if you check here, in your JavaScript, there will be some conditions that, okay, this is happening with this, right? Your password should have, it will validate with all the, internal things like, okay, whether you are using numbers or not, whether using capital, whether using special characters, right? There will be their own combination, there will be some expression combination with them. So with respect to that combination, right, it will check what exactly you are actually entering into your text box. So with respect to that validation, right, it will, that is how they are actually showing, okay, whether it is, okay or not. In the same way, you will also see some image, right? Yes, you can actually enable that if it is strong, right? If it is strong, it will show green image. If it is maybe, if it is not strong, it will show red, and if it is okay, it will show orange. You can also do that part here. Maybe you can just keep this label part over here. That's fine. Even now, maybe there is something which I have to change with label. That's fine. This is how the validation is done. Okay. So as you change the data, it will take up the data, right, and it will validate and it will show how your data is. This is something which is client-side validation using the JavaScript. Right, John?
Okay, yeah. So it's like on the fly they are using the JavaScript. Okay, yeah.
Yes, they'll be using. Definitely, they'll be using JavaScript or they'll be using internal jQueries. You also have some jQuery components to check the strong password and all. Yeah, a direct validation things. Right? Okay then. So
yeah.